Hi guys, happy Thursday. Just kind of waiting for my computer to make sure it's connected. Um, okay, it's saying I'm live now. Great. Hi, happy Thursday. Hey, so I wasn't here on Tuesday. I was sick the past few days, so I laid pretty low, but I still want to help you. I still want to give you value. And so here I am. So I'm 2 days late, but I'm here with something valuable for you. And today I'm talking about how to come up with value content and not just one post, but a way to come up with several posts all at once. If you sit down, take time to write a couple of lists, I'll walk you through how I go through this, and I'm able to create a reference for myself to make lots of posts. So I actually put together this live because I was doing this for myself. Um, I uh, I take time to sit down and brainstorm multiple pieces of value content, of things that will be helpful to others. And as I was doing it, I realized, okay, I have a technique that I could share with you guys that would be helpful. So, and one of the questions I get asked the most, especially by bookkeepers, or at least comments as far as like something they struggle with, they're like, I just don't know what do I write about. How do I keep coming up with good ideas? Social media is kind of a bear when it comes to that. If you're marketing on social media, the problem is you have to keep posting every freaking day in order to keep your algorithm high, people engaged, show that you're active. But then you have to come up with something freaking new all the time. And of course, that's not easy to do. But there is a way to create a reference for yourself to make sure that you're speaking to the people you want to be listening, helping the people that you want to be helping. Um, so if you are having trouble coming up with ideas of what to write about or how to make sure that you're talking to the right people, let's go ahead and jump in. So I've talked about this in the past. So you guys know that I've made like a content calendar specifically for bookkeepers. And in it, I have things broken out into 3 categories. I've got value posts, I've got engagement posts, and I've got sales posts. Today, I'm going to focus on value posts, which is basically the heart of content marketing. And in content marketing, they use the phrase like, you're giving away the farm. You're trying to give value. And that's kind of a buzzword for you're trying to help them without asking for something in return for the most part. You want to show that you know what you're doing. You want to help them solve a problem. Um, Once again, these posts aren't going to be your entire strategy, but it's a very important part of it because you want people to know that you know what you're talking about, see that you're an authority in your field. And you want them to trust you, and you want to have that reciprocity. You want to give them something to develop that relationship, which is kind of weird on social media because it's like that one-way thing. So there are 2 lists I'm going to have you write. So if you're replaying this, great. You can pause as I'm talking to sit down and write stuff. I would show you my notebook, but it is incomprehensible gobbledygook along with a lot of other things. I have like a commonplace book, so it's all the things. We're going to write 2 lists, and then we're going to take those lists and turn them into skeletons for posts, and then you'll see how to take multiple ideas and turn them into multiple posts. Okay, so we're going to have 2 lists. The first list that we're going to talk about is your work. I'm assuming that since you're, started your own business, you know exactly what service you provide, what help you're giving. So the first thing I want you to do is I want you to list on your piece of paper in this first list 3 services you regularly provide. So make sure that when you're solving problems for people, when you're building that reciprocity, make sure that you're doing it in topics related to your field. You want to be known. Like, so I'm not going to be on here giving you cooking tips when I'm trying to develop relationships with you and help you with value writing or content writing. So I'm going to be talking about writing. I'm going to be talking about content. I'm talking about marketing. So make sure that when you're giving value in these posts, that's related to your business. So first, make sure that you're talking about what you do. So, for example, in my business, 3 things that I do is I write social media posts, I write blogs, I write website content. For bookkeepers, that would look more like you may do QuickBooks training, monthly reconciliation, cleanup, and catch up. Just those are your services. That's something that you're starting with, something that you sell to help solve a problem. All right, so list number 1, your work, 3 services you regularly provide. Great. That means people are using that, buying that, want it. So another thing I want you to list under there. So you have 3 services you regularly provide. Also, I want you to write down 3 questions you hear the most from your clients. For example, with my business, with the writing, it's just like, how do I come up with content ideas? Ta-da, that's why I'm here today talking about this, because that's what I get asked about a lot. I also get asked a lot, can I post too much? And I also get the comment or asked, I'm not comfortable or confident with writing. I'm a numbers person. I usually overthink it. How do I handle that? So those are all common questions that I get. For bookkeepers, it could be something like, how do I add more automation to my bookkeeping or finances? It could be, how do I read and use my QuickBooks software? What does my P&L report mean exactly? So think about the questions that you hear most commonly from people who would use your services, either your current clients or people who would use your services. You can always look in, bookkeeping groups and see what people are looking for when it comes to that help. So that's your work. So you're trying to figure out what services you sell the most, and you're trying to figure out what questions you hear the most. This is telling you this is what you get hired for. This is what people are most interested in. Okay. So we got list number 1. We got list number 2 coming up right now. List number 2, it's very important to know who your clients are. So list number 2 is going to be all about your clients. So one of the first things we're going to write here, I want you to list 3 goals that your clients are trying to achieve through your services. Now, if it's easier, and sometimes it is for me, I'll picture a couple of my favorite clients. Amanda, if you're watching this, I think about you sometimes when I'm writing content. It's easier to sometimes picture one specific client. That way you don't get bogged down in trying to make everyone happy. It's actually not bad to be specific. So think of one client if it helps. If you feel more comfortable doing general, think of 3 goals that your clients are trying to solve through your services. So for example, when people hire me or talk to me, they want to create consistent content. Maybe they're falling behind on it. They want to get clients through social media. And they also want to be known as an authority on social media to help them with continued growth. So that's why they come to me. Those are the goals they're trying to achieve through my services or expertise. Now for bookkeepers, the goals that your clients are probably trying to achieve, they want more financial clarity to grow their business maybe. They want to keep their books current so they don't have to worry about taxes. Another goal might be that they just want to make sure their finances stay healthy so their doors stay open. Think about 3 goals that your clients are trying to achieve. Now, once again, still on the client list. Another 3 things I want you to write down. I want you to write down 3 problems, pains, or failures they're trying to avoid. Now, if you haven't read Donald Miller's Building a Story Brand book, it's great. He has an audio book too that's really good, super easy to understand and listen to. If you want to have an idea of how to talk in a way that your client listens to or needs, I'd highly suggest downloading it and finding a way to listen to it. Anyways, sometimes it's actually more effective to talk to what you're helping them avoid. We really don't want to fail. So you want to make sure that you're not just helping them meet a goal, you're helping them avoid a pain, helping them avoid a failure. So for example, when I sit down and list 3 problems that my clients want to avoid, bookkeepers usually don't like writing. So I'm helping them avoid the time spent and discomfort of writing their own content. Another thing that I'm helping them avoid is a lot of them are afraid that they're not writing it correctly. So I can help them avoid the wasted time and effort of writing ineffective content, not being strategic, spending all this time writing something and hearing crickets. Another thing in my business that I can help them with as a pain point, they don't want to miss out on these potential clients and business relationships on social media because they aren't posting right. So these are the things that I can talk to. These are the things that they want to solve through social media content. For bookkeepers, some of the pains and problems that your clients are having when they come to you, kind of in this way that bookkeepers don't like writing. Most people don't like bookkeeping or finances or taxes. It scares the shit out of them, or they don't like it. So you're saving them from the time and discomfort of keeping up with their own books. Again, the fear of doing it incorrectly and maybe ended up being an audit. Maybe there's this dark cloud over their head and they have this anxiety because of that. And maybe they're just afraid about the long-term health of their business. They don't want their business to fail. And so you can play a part in helping them protect that. All right, so we've got 2 lists. We got the list about your business. We got the list about your clients. Now, for the list of your clients, you've got goals they're trying to achieve. You got pain they're trying to avoid. Now, when it comes to those things, I want you to do something important. I want you to ask, so what? basically, what will happen if they don't hire you? What will happen if they don't do the thing that they're thinking of hiring you for? If they don't do their bookkeeping or hire you to do it, or someone doesn't write their social media content or doesn't hire me for it. For example, uh, when I say so what for the stuff on my end, if people don't write content consistently or hire me for it, they won't get new clients through social media. They'll lose out on that potential market. They'll waste their billable time doing something that isn't working. And their posts will probably be sporadic because it's uncomfortable. They don't know how to do it. And if it's sporadic, you lose out in the algorithm and it runs us out in the strategy. Blah, blah. So that's the so what. Those are like deeper levels of pain points. You can also ask so what a second time. It's like, okay, so what's the first so what? They won't get new clients through social media. Okay, so let's take it to a second level. What happens if they don't get clients through social media? They may not be able to find business. They may not have good marketing plans elsewhere that are working. They may not have enough business to stay in business. By the way, I'm really excited when I hear airplanes right now, just because with all the airplanes closed down, I always wonder what that means. Anyways, and with bookkeepers, I'll also ask the so what for all of these things. So what if they don't keep up with bookkeeping? They could get audited. And you could take that to a second level. So what if they get audited? They may have to pay huge fines. They may lose their business, their savings. What's another thing, what's another so what? Okay, they could, if they don't have their books up to date, they may not be able to apply for a loan. I know a lot of bookkeepers are like literally frontline workers right now, where it's just like for all the businesses who are applying for loans and like payroll protection and things of that nature, their books need to be up to date in order to get those loans. So that's one of the so what's. If you're in a point where you need a loan and your books aren't up to date, the so what is if you aren't doing this, you can't get that financial help you need. That is something I'm helping you with. And then maybe, one of the so what's is, well, what if I'm not clear on my financial status, I'm not doing bookkeeping? You could have a cash flow problem and you could go bankrupt. And if you're bankrupt, there are all sorts of bad things that go with that, of course. These are the so what's you're talking to. Once again, I've mentioned this before. It's just like people don't just buy services or hire you because it's practical. You can make sense all day long, but there's a lot of emotion when it comes to buying things, and you need to make it clear. And that's kind of tricky, of course, with the bookkeeping stuff. You really have to kind of go that extra mile to make sure they understand that deeper level, that emotional level when it comes to what their bookkeeping means. You can say all day long that you're reconciling their books, but you need to bring it down a little bit deeper and be like, this is what it means. This is how I'm helping you make your life better. This is what I'm preventing happening bad in your life. And so this is what we're doing. So you want to understand what your client's goals are. You want to understand what they're trying to avoid. And you want to make sure you drill down with those so what layers and figure out those deeper reasons why it matters that you're helping them or that they're doing these tasks. So we have these two lists. Honestly, I have in my Google Drive many spreadsheets, but I have one spreadsheet where it's just like I literally have a column for all of these things where I'm listing out, okay, most of my clients are bookkeepers. What are they trying to avoid? What are they trying to achieve? And it helps me get my head straight where I'm talking to what they need, to what they want. And then I'm able to take those lists and build a skeleton. So once again, we talked about what their questions were, what they're hiring you for. So the first thing you're going to do, taking these lists and turning them into the skeleton of a post, the first thing I want you to do is pick a problem. I don't want you to worry about splitting the atom. I don't want you to worry about going into super crazy detail about the most complicated thing to show that you're the most amazing, knowledgeable person on the market. You don't have to be. You really don't. Just solve a problem that they have, even if it seems easy. Something I come across with bookkeepers is they assume that what's common knowledge to them is common knowledge to everyone. Honestly, I struggle with that too. I'm just like, doesn't writing come naturally to everyone? But it's not. You're good at what you do. You're hired to do what you do. Other people are good at other stuff. So honestly, it probably isn't too simple. You may think to yourself, oh, everyone knows that. Not necessarily. Oh, good, they're still doing construction right now. That'll be a treat. Sorry, there's like drilling in the background. So pick a question that they have. So for example, the question that I hear a lot is, how do I come up with content? Now that's a pretty big question. So I can drill it down to smaller questions. So for me, it's just like, okay, how do I come up with content? Okay, I can give you a strategy for content creation ideas. I can show you specifically how to make value posts. And later I can talk about how to make a sales post. Later, I can talk about how to make an engagement post. So that's the great thing about this. It's just like, once I find that question, once I find those problems, even if it's general, I can narrow it down into smaller ones. And then guess what? I've got multiple posts going on, guys. So for example, if you're a bookkeeper and you're trying to come up with content, and you keep hearing the question, how do I learn more about automation? How do I add more automation in my business? Drill it down into one thing that they can automate. So for example, if they want to automate like their bank feed, show them that. Keep it to there, and then find other ways to solve that automation question. So I'll get more into that in a second. So once again, this is a great way to come up with multiple posts, because the idea is to solve one problem in one post. And these questions can have multiple sub-questions, essentially. So many ideas come out of this, guys, so many ideas. So, for example, when one of the content quote, that's waiting for English to come back into my mouth. Okay. So one of the things that people talk to me about is, like, I'm afraid I'm over posting. Great. That means I can educate them on, the limited visibility of individual posts. I can talk about the kind of posts that get the most engagement, like Facebook Lives and things like that. Some people deal with anxiety with posting. So I can talk about the anxiety I've dealt with posting and how I overcame it. I can share articles I found on other people who've overcome anxiety. I can share proof of how overcoming it and being consistent has led to more business, things of that nature. For bookkeepers, you could do different things. And once again, you don't always have to write the content yourself. You can do this thing, what's the term? Curate. You can curate content. So that can be sharing a YouTube video or a helpful link, things of that nature. So for example, you can, if they're trying to figure out how to do automation, you want to solve a problem like that for them, share a YouTube video on how to connect their bank to QuickBooks. Boom. Question, it's solved. Share, they're trying to track more of their expenses and get more on top of that. Share with them your favorite expense tracking apps, Expensify, or a mileage logger that automatically turns on when you're in the car, things like that. Do a live with a dummy P&L report and break out all of the definitions of it. Like, this is what this means, this is what that means, this is a good sign, this is a bad sign. Do a simple outline for a budget. And as you guys, as bookkeepers, know right now, it's just like anything you've got related to finances, and everyone being, going through this crazy period trying to figure out what to do with their businesses during the coronavirus. Of course, any help you can give them in, dealing with their, stimulus check payments or their grants, payroll protection, loan application, things like that, that is hugely important right now. Find something small enough that you can solve in a single post, a single video. So once again, we're building this skeleton, and I kind of jumped ahead a little bit because I get excited about how practical this is. So you got your list of what your business does and solves. You got your list about what your client wants and doesn't want. And now we're building this skeleton. So the first thing you do is you pick one problem, just one for one post. Pick a problem, and you're going to show them how to solve it. Don't hold back. Don't be like, sign up to get all the answers. That's shitty. No one likes it. And whenever I see it, it's just like, how do I know that you're actually going to solve it? There really is a spirit of, you got to give the farm away. Once again, how many how-to videos have you seen on YouTube? For example, it's just like, how many plumbing videos are on YouTube that you've actually done yourself? You may look at it to understand it, and then you'll be like, oh, yeah, that's not my bag. I'm going to go hire someone for it. Think about it that way. It's just like, just because you show someone how to do it, it doesn't mean you're losing business. If anything, you're showing that you know how to do it. So you've picked a problem to solve. Let's say with QuickBooks, with bookkeepers, it's automation. You picked a problem to solve. Now solve it. Give clear, actionable steps to completely solve the problem. If it needs, hi Amanda, and if it needs more in-depth analysis, that's okay. and something really quickly. Try and solve something small and quickly. But if there's more content, like on your website, if you have a blog, if you did another live on this recently, link them back to it, give them more value, and, interact with them even more that way. It leads to more connection, more interaction. And that's what this is about. You're trying to build these relationships, this trust. So keep going off of that. Anyways, step 2, you need to solve a problem. So for example, this live is exactly an example of a value post, value content. I knew there's a problem where a lot of people struggle with knowing what to post about. I have a strategy for it, so I can teach that to you. I'm not holding anything back. I'm sharing everything I've got with you guys. I'm sharing examples from my business and bookkeeping businesses, things of that nature. I'm trying to solve the problem, help you solve the problem all the way through. And for example, like I said before, it's just like I hear a lot about how people are anxious about posting. It's uncomfortable. It's hard. You don't know how people are going to react. There's a lot of anxiety around it. Oh my God. I completely understand that. When I started doing this stuff, I was super anxious about this, but I have ways of dealing with it, overcoming it. And I have shared that actually in previous posts because I want to give you a path for solving that specific problem. So that's my business, with content marketing and things of that nature. For bookkeepers, it's different. You're helping them solve more technical problems. And once again, the odds of someone taking what you do and doing their own bookkeeping by themselves, once again, even though you're giving away the farm, they're probably going to hire you to run the farm. So for example, if you want automation, share a YouTube video showing them how to connect their bank account to QuickBooks, right? You could even do there's a lot of jargon in bookkeeping. So you could even take like 2 words that that your clients misuse a lot and differentiate between them. So for example, like profit margin and cash flow, or cash flow and profit and loss. I know that people have some confusion around there. Clarify that for them and explain to them why it's important. Okay, so you picked a problem, you solved the problem. Try to keep it short. I'm kind of a hypocrite on that. I feel like my videos are long, but it is what it is. Okay, so I told you before that we drill down into the so what. We want people to understand not just practically why it matters, but also emotionally in their life why it matters. So as we're building the skeleton, you picked a problem, you solved the problem. You need to make sure you explain why it matters, why they should care. Now, something that you'll find in content marketing websites, if you do any research on it, you don't want to make people work to figure out what you're solving, what you're doing, what the result is. You want to make it as clear as possible. You're taking them from A to B. Okay, so at A is before you have, let's go back to like having like a mileage app. Before you have the mileage app, you're losing out on mileage logs. You're losing out on tax reimbursements. You're losing out on money. And then afterwards, you don't have to deal with written books. Your phone tracks it automatically, and everything is much easier, and you get more money back on your taxes. And you can show them the A to B. You want to make it very clear how you're helping them in that more emotional, personal way. You need to make it very, very clear. So once again, that list of goals and pain points that your clients have that you wrote down in their list, try to connect your solution to something that you know that they want, or you know that they want to avoid. Make sure that it matters to them. Try not to force it. But knowing your business and your clients, I doubt that you will. So for example, something like what this might look like for my clients. So again, explaining why it matters, why they should care. So when I talk about, coming up with content, I'm helping people get past writer's block so you can build more visibility online through your more consistent content. Or for example, this will help you create content that leads to relationships and results and not just crickets, okay? I'm showing how you're going from, not having content or inconsistent content to what the results will be. I'm connecting it to what I know my clients want, what their goals are. So for bookkeepers, if your clients want to grow their business, or want to, reduce their expenses, is that's something that they talk to you about a lot. It's just like, here's a basic business budget, and if you understand it, this will help you keep your expenses in check better. For example, if they talk about automation, it's just like, here's how to connect your bank account. This will save you so much time and help you grow your business so much more. Say that they're a growth-centric client. You're connecting the solution to something that they want or don't want. You're making it real to them. So that's the three things to do with those lists. You pick a problem, you solve a problem, and you connect it to what you know that they want or don't want. Now, there's a fourth step. This is optional. So I told you that there are three categories that I work with on the posts that I write on social media. There's sales posts, engagement posts, and value posts. This is a video about value posts. Once again, you're giving away the farm. You're not trying to make a sales pitch here. You're trying to show that you know what you're talking about. You're trying to be helpful. If it works, sometimes you can mention how you've helped others achieve this same solution, this same outcome. You don't always have to do this, but it does. I've noticed when I've posted this way, it validates you as providing that service, but it also strengthens the advice that you gave. It's just like someone else did this and got a good result. So when I talk about, I don't know, like, let me get back to my notes. Sorry, guys. So when, if I talk about like a solution, like, this is how you write more content, and it's just like, Mariah said that this is how the content calendar helped her. She now had ideas and didn't have to worry about what to post about. From coming up, with ideas, she and I together. These are the results Jennifer said she got from, this process or solution that I'm sharing with you guys today, showing that it has real world results, or even if you don't have a client testimonial, you can also just say, this is what works for your business. So for example, when I'm talking about my business, it's just like 100% of my clients, my business, my marketing is on social media, and I have a profitable business. So I can say that this works for me, which is what I've been saying all this video. So use yourself as an example too. That also adds like a personal touch. So anyways, this is what I do. And the good thing about this, like with these lists, with these questions, these pain points, over time, I can add to it. I can adjust it for different like subtypes of clients. So for example, I know that like I have some bookkeepers who are like in their 30s and young mothers, but I also have some bookkeepers who are empty nesters, and they're slightly different people. So I can create different lists, different pain points, different goals for those two different types of clients. And you can do that too. You can keep adding to these lists over time, make it more dynamic. And when you're stuck, go back to the list. And that way you know that you're talking about the things that they want. So once again, this is super useful, and it's something that I go back to all the time. It's easy to build. It's easy to make. It just takes a few minutes to reflect, to look back and figure out, where you give the most help, what do they want to know the most, and making sure that you know your client. That's so important when it comes to writing effective content, is writing to the right needs and the right people. So putting it all together. Hi, Chris, thanks. So once again, you got two lists. One, you're writing a list about your business. Two, you're writing a list about your clients. And three, you're putting it all together into a skeleton where you can create valuable posts to help you become more of an authority in your field and to help your potential clients. So know your business, know what you do and the problems you solve, know who your clients are and what they want and need. Make sure you drill it down to those deeper levels. Connect your work and your business to your client in a helpful way that solves a problem. So pick a problem, solve it. Once again, don't worry about it being too small or too simple. Make sure it's something related to what you do. And also try and find like multiple sub-problems under something that you know they struggle with, like multiple automation solutions, Also make sure that you make it crystal clear how you're helping them and how it, like what change it will have in their life. Don't make them guess about the help. Don't make them guess about the value. Make it very clear. exactly how you're helping them. Connect with them on an emotional level, because that is involved in the buying process. So you want to make sure that you're bringing that into. And then, yeah, think of these lists as like idea fertilizer. Keep adding to it, mix and match these over and over again. Like I said, I use mine all the time. It's super helpful for coming up with tons of ideas. I already have like 6 more ideas that came from me brainstorming in this vein, just this afternoon, this morning. I don't know. Apparently, I've been talking for a long time, so I was just really excited about this. So, anyways, I hope you guys have a wonderful day. I gotta run. I will talk to you soon. Uh, Planning for Tuesday, unless I get sick again, but that's not the plan. So, have a wonderful day, and I will talk to you guys later. Bye.